Here we're going to look at topic 9, example 4, apply linear equations. An event facility has a banquet hall that can hold up to 250 people. The price for a party includes the cost of the room rental plus the cost of a meal for each guest. Marissa is planning an event for 75 people, and she has budgeted $1,200 for the party. Will it be enough? Okay, so on our graph here, the x-axis represents the number of people, and the y-axis is the cost or the budget. What we're going to find here is that right, the more people we have, the more it costs. And as this increases, it's a linear equation, so it's going to go up at the same rate, which means the rate that this is increasing, which is our slope, the slope is the cost of a meal. Okay, so the slope is the cost of a meal. All right, whatever amount of people, we'll figure that out based on what's going on here. To figure out the actual cost or the slope, we can figure out that using the slope formula. So I'm going to use my slope formula to figure out what the slope is. That's pretty obvious. I can choose any points I want. I have 5 options. I can use whatever ones I want to use to find the slope, but I'm going to use the first 2 points, just make my life a little bit easier. So the y2 value, I'm going to pull from right here. The y1 value, I will pull from here. x2 and x1. So you could use any of the other points, but I'm just going to pick the first 2 points. There's really no specific reason I'm choosing those, other than that they're the smallest numbers. So we have 1,325 minus 725 over 100 minus 50. Okay, so let's highlight that one more time so we know where everything came from. Did not want to erase that. There, no. There we go. And there. Okay. So when we subtract these, we have 1,325 minus 725 is 600. 100 minus 50 is 50, and if we divide these, we get 12. So what that tells me is that my slope is 12. Okay, so this is the cost of a meal. The next thing we need to figure out is how much the total cost would be, right, for 75 people. So we know that's somewhere around here. Okay, so we don't know exactly what that number is, but we could figure that out if we have an equation. And I can find an equation using point slope form because I have the slope now and I have a whole series of points. I have 5 different points that I could use. So I have my y. My m value is 12. Right, I can plug that in. I can choose whatever point I want for my x1, y1. I'm just going to use the smallest numbers. So y1, I'm going to use 725. And x1, I'm going to use 50. Okay, so this is the formula to determine cost. Okay, so this formula determines the total cost. Right, that's the formula for my specific line. So now that we have that formula, we can figure out the actual cost based on whatever number of people we want, anywhere from 1 to 250 people. And the number of people, remember, is your x value. So in this specific problem, Marissa wants to plan an event for 75 people. So that 75 people represents our x value. Right? So that's, again, how many people are going to be at this party. And whatever that x value is will determine my total price. So I'm going to plug in x there, and I'm going to, sorry, not x, I'm going to plug in 75 there, and that'll help me determine my total cost. So I have y minus 725 And now notice that we have an equation that only has one unknown, right? This y value. So I'm able to solve for that. So just work everything out. 75 minus 50 would be 25. Y minus 725 equals 12 times 25 should be 300, if I'm thinking correctly. Yep, 300. I'm going to add 725. So y is equal to 1,025. Okay. So the cost of a party for 75 people. So 75 people costs $1,025. Make sure we answer the question, which we didn't yet. The question is that Marissa has budgeted $1,200. Is that enough money for the party? Well, 1,200 is more than 1,025. So will it be enough? Yes, Marissa has enough money. I know there's a lot going on in this problem. Might seem a little complicated, it might seem a little confusing. What I would suggest is, now that you kind of get the idea of where you're going to in the end, I would go back to the beginning of this video and rewatch it, knowing where the problem is eventually going to. And you can start kind of piecing it all together. Because in the beginning, you probably had very little clue where we were moving to, where we were going, and how we were getting there. But now that you have a little bit of an idea, it might be beneficial to rewatch the video and have a better understanding of the process. So again, the answer, yes, Marissa does have enough money.